Perfect. Well, good morning. Things are a little different today than they were the last time that we chatted like this. And I'm kind of getting used to this. Many of you know that I don't have hearing in this ear. And recently had some hearing loss in the good ear. Isn't it funny how we call something that works the good ear? Oh, this is my good ear. This is my good eye. This is my good leg. And in the past week, my world got a lot quieter. And it's the equivalent of, the only thing I can compare it to would be like if you're swimming and you get water in your ear and everything sounds muffled. Let me give you the little backstory. I was not born with hearing impairment. And I have a condition called Meniere's disease. And it's an inner ear issue. And it affects balance, gives you vertigo, nausea when it hits. And I've had over 400 Meniere's attacks in my lifetime. Some of them are what they call drop attacks, where you just go down. Just weird. It's very strange. But I've overcome a lot of that stuff and learned to kind of dance with the disability. And when it hits, you're disabled. You're not mildly impaired, you're disabled. But I'm not on disability or would consider myself a disabled person by any stretch of the imagination. At its worst, you can't move. Nausea, vertigo, just horrible. Wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. Actually, I would. If you're going to wish something on your worst enemy, wish Meniere's on them. So I lost the hearing in this ear, and the story goes like this. I'm sleeping one day and waking up, and I wake up early in the morning to the birds singing, trees outside the window. And I'm laying on the pillow like this. Here's the pillow. And I'm hearing the birds. And I roll over and put this ear on the pillow, and I heard nothing. It was, what? When do the birds start chirping in the morning? 4:30, 5 o'clock. Went back, birds. This way, no birds. And I just like laid there in bed, and I went, nothing, something. I'm like, damn, my hearing's gone. Then I went through a grieving period. I talked to my doctor, went to ear, nose, and throat person, took all the tests. Look at the graphs of my hearing. This ear, everything is like, perfect. This ear, just nothing. Today's coffee is from Chestnut Hill Coffee Company in Chestnut Hill, Pennsylvania. Locally, it's my favorite coffee roaster in the Philadelphia area. Just nice, consistent. I might do a review on them, as I've tried so many coffees since I've got bitten by the coffee bug. So in the past week, my world got a little bit quieter as I've lost hearing about 50% in this ear. So what does that mean for me? Well, my world got real quiet. Literally, if there's not overt sound, I don't hear it. I just live in silence. Can I hear people talking? Yep, if there's no other sound. For instance, if I'm at a party and there's talking, ambient sound, like sound in the room, and someone's talking to me, if I'm not looking at their lips, it's like the Pink Floyd song, your lips are moving, but I can't hear what you're saying. And you adapt by just agreeing with people. You might not understand what they're saying literally. They're talking to you and saying something, and you just have. This is weird. This is how I've adapted, and I have to even adapt to my adapting. It's like you kind of shake your head and you go, yeah. They could be saying, "You're the biggest douchebag I've ever seen," and you're going, yeah. But you don't really hear them. And that's kind of like the freakiest thing about losing hearing. And I have to put on like headphones in this ear to listen to my voice, because people that have total hearing loss, they talk like they have total hearing loss. There's a certain way that they sound, and I know I don't sound that way because I've had good hearing most of my life, which means that I've heard my own voice not only through my ears, but I've heard it through the vibrations in my head. Sorry about the discontinuity here, I'm recording on my phone. One of the weird social things is you end up avoiding social situations, which I'm already kind of a person that does that to begin with. But when you know that you can't hear people and understand them, especially if there's noise, like I can go out dancing, go out partying, and have a good time. I can go and watch a band, but I'm careful now because I'm afraid that anything super loud is going to destroy the little that I have left. Isn't that weird? But you end up avoiding social situations because you don't understand anybody. And if there's competing noise, no one understands you, you don't understand them, and they might think you're weird. So that's like one of the things that comes to my mind when I think about social situations. Just some thoughts today on hearing loss and disability and how to deal with it. And it made me think about, what if I lost other functions? I get very philosophical. What if I lost other functions? Or what happens to people who lose other senses? Your 5 senses. What is the most valuable sense? Is hearing? Is sight? Taste? Smell? Touch? What about a 6th sense? Imagine it. There's some. You ever see some people who just. You ever use the phrase regarding someone? You say, well, they just don't get it. What are they not getting? They don't have the intuition. They don't see nuances. That would suck to really lose that sense, wouldn't it? Just something to think about. If you can relate to any of this, comment down below. Let me know how you dealt with it. And if there's others, comment on their comments. Have a good day, everybody. Thanks.